What's up, fam? We got to get it right, set it up. Again, you're the back of the room, folks. We're going to get this just for our team, our community. This is Sundays with Seba Inpu the Black August edition. We're getting ready to jump on and go live Herrera and Facebook as we set this up. So we're getting ready to do it now. Choose where you want to post your live videos, share in the group. Yes, got it coming. Give me a minute. Fam, so we can get it rocking. Also recording here. We want to be able to keep it rocking as we get ready to go live. So we got it. Okay. Gonna get it going here. Black August edition. I'm gonna double that up so they get it. And we're gonna make it happen. So here we go. Going live in the group Herrera. And we're gonna make it happen. Get everybody in the room. And do our thizzle. All right. Okay, right. So we'll be able to get everything rocking on time. There we go. Hope everybody's doing well. This is a beautiful day for us to gather together and to talk about our topic. So I'm here. I'm going to be getting things ready over on the other device so we can be ready for what we're doing. We got our logo prominently in the background with me here. Now, be silent. I'm going to be talking to y'all out loud as I talk to myself and get ready as we get everything going so we can be ready to go live on time. Because you know how we do. We want to take the opportunity and take the time so that we have the ability to get everything done that we need to get done, when and how we need to do it. So we're going to work that out to the best of our ability for everyone. Hopefully y'all have done some of the research from the newsletter this month on Black August, and you'll have the opportunity to work that out. Word. That's what I'm talking about. So getting ready to get it in. And part of the beauty is that we're in this wonderful room, lots of light. The only challenge by being in this room is that because there's lots of light from the north, the east, and the west, is that there are times where even though the light is dispersed, I'm backlit. And so this beautiful dark brown skin absorbs that light. And so what you get is it appears as if I'm a shadow with wonderful white hair and eyes and teeth. So this speaks to, as we talk about just in general, the ways in which the dominant cultural narrative and paradigm inhibits our ability to interact with science, looking at our ways of knowing and trying to basically normalize people racialized as white as normal, as being the standard, the de facto standard. And so the cameras and all the different sensors are set up to sense their skins and not ours. So we're getting ready to get on and get going. So I look forward to seeing y'all on the other side shortly. And here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Oh, whoa. Hey, we got a lot of folk jumping in here today. Greetings, everybody. Hope that all are well. This is this is our fourth one, Sundays with Seba Inpu. This is a special edition for us. This is our Black August edition. So we want to be able to ensure that we continue with our series looking at the human body, understanding the human body, but we're going to take a minor shift from that. Yes, walaikum salam. Peace and blessings. Love to all present. Atep. Thank you all for joining us right here at 3 o'clock. This is Sundays with Seba Inpu. Thank you all for dropping in on us. This is our Black August edition. We're going to be setting it off. I want to be able to share with you some things about the body, some things about what we're doing with the KhASA and Sama. Got a little signal lag. Excuse the signal lag. We're having some minor technical difficulty. Wouldn't be us without some of these fun and enjoyable technical challenges. So I'm grateful that you all are able to hear us. Bear with us as we work through some of the minor technicalities with our signal strength. Should be working that out. And what I wanted to talk about today was one of the things that you hear from us consistently at the KhASA and Sama Association is getting that reconnect on. Hopefully you all are able to get this consistently here. You know, if you really enjoy what we do or like what we do, I'd really appreciate if you were able to kick that donation into the PayPal. We greatly appreciate that if you support our efforts at trying to get out to the community the study of self-defense arts, the study of the healing arts, and the study of an understanding of self-defense science, nutrition science, healing science, and understanding of the relationship between you, the environment, and your body. And so what we did the last three sessions, I want to recap right here at the top so that we can get some clarity on where we're going to go and how we move forward. Got it, folks? So the first time that we met, we talked about ways of knowing. And in talking about ways of knowing and utilizing the scientific method, what we wanted to do was really to expose folks to an understanding that there's more than one way of knowing something. And that coming from a holistic perspective, utilizing as many of the ways of knowing as you can, affords you, one, the ability to sidestep propaganda, to move beyond misinformation and disinformation. And also, when that is happening in your everyday life, to be able to regain control over your physical body using your breath. And we taught one specific breathing technique utilizing what we call the bellows breathing, which is a technique that begins to ground your body and get you into your body again. And so you can check out our YouTube channel, which is, you can just go on to YouTube, KhASA AHA, which is similar to the pinned comment. You can find us on YouTube, our channel, where we talk a bit about bellows breathing. And we talk about visualization and about the way in which our ancestors utilized the scientific method and applied it to the body and applied it to the cosmos and to everything that they did, in addition to utilizing different ways of knowing. understanding plant medicine. And so that led to the next section where we talked about plant medicine, we talked about nutrition science, we talked about fasting. And so now we went from breath to nutrition. So I want you to understand that we went from the very first thing you do when you get to the planet to now we get to the next thing that happens, which we're talking about is the food that you eat. And we talked a bit about food, but I want you to really understand that it's not what you eat is important. What you eat is vitally important, but also as important is what you digest. And so what that means is what you're able to break down, assimilate, and let its structure become your structure. And so that means what you listen to is important, what you read is important, and what you smell is important. What you touch is vitally important, as much so as the food that you put in your body. And we talked about that and the relationship between those things. We have a little trouble with our handheld device and connection today. And so my apologies at this, folks, with the connection, but we're working it out. Thank you for your continued support and patience. So we want to move from that, and then we talked about the human body. And we went from this gross material, talking about the physical human body, or the khat, to use a Kemetic phrase from the Meduna chair. And then we went to talk about what are now seen as the subtler human bodies. So we briefly touched on the chakra system, or what we would call the erit, or the different, the sashini is what we would call them from the temple I came out of, which is the temple of the white and gold lotus shrine of Amun-Ra, where we taught about the subtler energy bodies within the human body. So you would have the chakra system, or what some call the erit system, or what we also refer to as sashini. Then you would also have what we talked about in terms of the meridian system. And so when we talked about the meridian system, we talked about the 12 meridians that most folks are associated with traditional Chinese medicine, or also with acupressure, acupuncture. And we talked about how that's utilized through the Tai Chi Chuan and the Qigong. And then we talked about the 8 psychic centers, which come out of the Taoist healing technique. And when we talk about the Taoist healing techniques, we talk about our great grandmaster Dalu and his work, and the work of Harry Kafran Dongo, who's our grandmaster for our system, which you can see the sign and symbol behind us, where he started the Kemetic Tai Chi and Yoga Society, which then has morphed into what I'm doing out here with the Kemetic Aha and Sama Association. And so now that we have a better understanding of the body, we also talked about the Ka, the Ku, the Kaibit, and the Sahu, which on the Kemetic side are subtle energy bodies with our last talk. And one of the reasons we talked about these subtle energy bodies is it was a way to incorporate or to understand how we can work with the subconscious, how we can work with the superconscious to utilize the modern Western psychological constructs. But primarily it's a way to utilize, or the optimal way to connect with the brain, to understand your body as a time traveling unit, and that when we have traumas or profound challenges that we survive, part of that body, part of that energy body or physical body, as we go through the healing process, can remain trapped in time, in space. And so through the practice of Tai Chi Chuan, Qigong, the energy work, the healing that we do, the meditations that we offer, it affords you the opportunity to bring all of you into the present. And when all of you is in the present, some really magical things are able to happen. You have the opportunity to be here now. And what that really means is that all of your consciousness is not dealing with digesting food. You're not dealing with old pain. You're dealing with all of your faculties to be able to be present so you can see clearly, and now all your ways of knowing are fully accessible to you. And they're able to bring to you the information unfiltered and clear. And you also now, through the practice of Tai Chi Chuan, Qigong, cultivate the relationship with those subtle bodies. So you have additional ways of knowing that get brought in, intuition, as well as understanding of pain, which is basically a way of bringing additional information to the body. So now that we have those things, we set this up so that as we move into what's called Black August, it's going to afford us an opportunity to more fully explain and understand yourself, your relationship to your environment, and that environment as well. And that's what I want to get into a little bit more here today, is as we start talking about the environment. And again, we're going to go forward, but right now we're going to get into Black August. And so with the Black August section, and many of you may be watching here now live or checking us out later in various platforms. I want you to pause again for the reconnect. Hey, want you to get an opportunity to really, really think about what is Black August. And so I'm going to give a very loose, paraphrased definition. If you want the actual literal definition or something a bit more factual and technical, I suggest you check out the Malcolm X Grassroots Movement. And you can actually search for them in your browser and hook it up, and you'll get the information direct from folks who are doing and have been doing great work in the community. And so with that, I will say that if you look at the history of Black people in this country, and not just this country, but other places, as a result of the Ma'afa, or the Holocaust of enslavement, or what we really refer to as our time as prisoners of war here in these lands, what you find out is that August is a profoundly beneficial month for us. Many of our great heroes, many of our great heroines, many of our great freedom fighters were born during this month. Many of our great rebellions and revolutionary attempts were held during this month. That I want to be able to first contextualize that for you, understanding that most African peoples, when they're operating under their own calendar, they have a very sacred time, and it's called New Year's. And so for our people, for our people, we got a little connection issue. Let me see if it gets, there we go. For our people, one of the very sacred times, and this is, again, understanding, I'm looking at Africa from the construct of Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, or Baba Sheikh Anta Diop, one of our Jegna, collectively in the community, is the cultural unity of Africa. And so that from roughly about the June 8th, 7th, all the way through to September 10th is the time period that when we were in charge of our calendars, that is around the time that we start celebrating our New Year time. And so what you will begin to see is that from now, even through September, we would start with some of the Yoruba peoples. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry that is skipping, folks. I'm gonna do my best, and what I'll work to do is you got this also going in one of my Facebook groups, so that it's a watch party going on over there. If you're not able to get it clearly here on the Instagram, we're gonna work on getting it so that you have it. My apologies with the signal. We're gonna get it worked out. That's why we talk about not just being prepared, but being ready. Understand? So if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I want you to understand that we're trying to get this out in a way that everyone can see it, so that it's not it's all skipped up. I'm going to review it, we'll edit it, get it back out to folks so we know what's happening. My apologies on the connection speed and the skipping. So going forward, you want to look at, there's some names I want you to explore. This is a time when we remember our freedom fighters. We remember those that have gone on before us in the liberation struggle. And because I teach self-defense arts, because I teach healing arts, one of the people that I want to, shout out and give a big up to right now is Dr. Mutulu Shakur. And he's someone who I've personally written, who I've written with my children, someone who actually has an amazing documentary that covers a part of what he did in Harlem and part of New York as a part of the detox work that was done around using acupuncture to detox people that were coming off of heroin and other very strong drugs during the mid-70s, 70s into the 80s. They created actually a community clinic. And the film is called Dope is Death. It's a documentary. So if you get an opportunity, please, when it comes out, check it out. I think they're on Facebook. You can check them out. They are awesome. It's a very good documentary that covers using footage from the time, news footage, and current interviews with some of the folks. The state, of course, wouldn't let them interview Dr. Mutulu Shakur. And, he's ailing. And you got to remember that I think it's important that we remember, because, again, I'll be, the grace of spirit and the ancestors and the creek don't rise. I'll be 51 soon. And as me being 51, I want you to understand that many of our freedom fighters have been behind the wall all of my life, and that they've been separated from their families, and we don't want to forget them. And so Black August is a time when not only do we work collectively to remember them, but we expose their work and their history and the things that they have done for our community and our people to a larger group of folks. We share this information with our children. We raise them with an understanding of these are our warriors who are behind the wall, who this system politicized and made them criminal. They just wanted to be able to feed our people through survival programs with the Black Panther Party for self-defense. We wanted to be able to organize prisoners behind the wall who were being mistreated. And for that's somehow wrong to want to do well and treat people well. And so they're still out doing work now, organizing the homeless, doing the great work downtown, still doing the healing works with some of the community clinics that you'll see. So what I want to do, even though this is a Sunday with Seba, what I want to really do is kind of contextualize so that you see that the work that we're doing, while you don't see a lot of martial arts schools also talking about healing and talking about community work and community requirements, what I want you to really understand is that we come from a long tradition of groups who are representing and working to teach our people survival strategies, so that as we continue to organize and mobilize in these other areas, we have an opportunity to help keep our community safe, help us think about self-defense strategies for yourself personally, for your community, and when you're out at these protests. Hugely important, hugely important. Okay, so now we got the thing with Dope is Death. We got the brief understanding. So I'm talking about him specifically, but I also suggest you take a look at, George Jackson. This is a time where we research and we learn. And so looking at a book like Blood in My Eye or Soledad Brothers, and do more than just read. If you're not part of an organization, join one. Get some information. Share that information with others. This would be a great time, not necessarily to just go watch Dope is Death, or to find a way to watch an important film, like COINTELPRO 101 is a good film to check out around this time. Don't just watch the film. Have a group gathering that you watch this film with your friends, and nowadays we say watch it with Zoom, here's a great thing. YouTube has 13th for free. Netflix has a special where if you use it on your laptop, you can actually have a chat, and you can do a chat room live. So you can watch some of these other films and chat with your friends and family while you watch it together, so you can build. Understand, this is about building and creating relationships, a deeper understanding. More people, because we're at home now, have a lot more time to think and reflect about what's really going on with their lives. And so as we do that, particularly for Black August, we can think about the things that are happening in our lives that we see in front of us right now, and how what this dominant culture is trying to do is to restore the distractions at a rapid pace so that you don't have to think about, how come I can't get some rent relief? What do you mean they're going to be evicting everybody in less than 30 days? You know, with this COVID, you're going to put everybody out on. So I want you to really begin thinking about, what's going to happen when the extra unemployment ain't dealt with, and these people who were able to access food are now challenged. Well, are we going to organize? Are we going to have some survival strategies? Are we going to be able, do we know our neighbors? So don't just watch these films. Don't just get this research and education aspect and think that you've done something. We got to now reach out to the people near us and around us and just have that conversation. Know your neighbors. If you grow some crops at your house, and I'm saying crops, but if you grow something, what neighbor to yours, do they grow something as well? Can you barter that? Can you share? What skills and abilities do you have that the community needs that you can give? And I'm not just talking about, say, like you're a member of an association or that kind of group. Give that to the community, but you may have a hobby. And we're going to talk about mastery a little further on. But there are a lot of ways that we can get to, put some money on the books for some of our folks who are behind the wall, who have done great work for us. And so you got, Critical Resistance is a group, but in the chat, if y'all scroll up, you'll see it. There's links there for Dope is Death and for the Malcolm X Grassroots Movement, two groups that are doing amazing work. Okay, now I want to do a quick pivot shift and talk. So Black August is not just about understanding the history and the relationship to our liberators and our brothers and sisters and our elders behind the wall. It's also an opportunity for us to get ourselves in shape, to address our physical, mental, emotional, mental, and spiritual relationship with ourselves, to address some of the traumas that we have survived, and to find ways to heal, utilizing these tools. And so that's what I want to come to you and share today, because you're going to have an opportunity this month to learn a great deal, because we have the access to these Zooms and these Instagram Lives, and to be able to get in touch with some amazing people who have lived lives that we should respect and honor to the best of our ability. And so what we've done at KhASA is we have partnered and collaborated with Doshi Healing Arts and with Ra Life Defense. And we're going to be bringing you this month some very compelling dialogues on the social media that you'll have an opportunity to engage us with. So we've had, I don't want to let too much out now. I want to be able to have it all finalized and bring it to you so you can be like, oh, that's going to be dope. But I do want to say that we're going to have a Black Women and Self-Defense Systems panel, chat, question and answer that I think you're gonna want to appreciate. Is going to be from a perspective that no one else has brought yet, or is going to be able to bring in a way that is truly awesome. We're going to do some things with couples. We're going to do some things with our elders, because what we want to be able to convey is that it's not just Inpu with his association, that we collaborate together, that we organize together, that it is multi-generational, so that you may see some of my children, my partner, some of my cousins. You may see some of us. You want to understand that this is not just about me. We are working to create our survival programs, because we need to recognize that we are still behind the wall, even though we may not be behind physical walls. that we're still prisoners of war. And even though we may not act like it's a war, we got to start taking a look around and understand that in Portland, unmarked vehicles with people not presenting themselves as law enforcement get out of vehicles with guns and are snatching women off the street. Now, I need you to understand that wherever we are, and I'm not talking wolf here, but let's be real. They snatching women off the street in unmarked cars. Where does that occur? Where are we? And what are we prepared to, well, first, I'm not even prepared. I didn't even get to prepared yet. Are people ready? Are people trained? And now I'm going to come to this thing that we call within our system. We ain't trademarked it. You may like it. You're going to use it if you like. We got a couple of things that we say. And one is we need you to make a consistent commitment to a lifestyle change. Understand what I'm saying? A consistent commitment to a lifestyle change. This shelter and home has afforded you an opportunity to look at your life from a very different way. You've been able to say, how am I spending my money? What am I doing with my time? Am I utilizing my time and my energy and my choices in ways that benefit my household, my children, my family, my community, and my people? And learning a self-defense system is a huge part of that. And so whether it's KhASA, whether it's Doshi Healing Arts, whether it's Raw Life Defense, or many other amazing self-defense practitioners, and we'll have an opportunity, I'm not going to run the list down, even into our yoginis, folks that are practicing their ways, that we have an opportunity. One just popped up, as I said, yogini. So we have some amazing people doing this deep work, okay? That's right, doing this deep work. And we want to be able to have an opportunity to not just connect with them, be able to bring useful and tangible skills to the groups, right? Because we know that doing this work, I know in my talk with many of my elders, they thought we was going to get free in the 70s. Okay, I was a child of the 70s and 80s and came of age in part of the 90s. So I understand that you can burn out, and because that fire burns hot. And what we do with our bellows breathing, which we talked about in our first session, like how I brought that back, that bellows breathing teaches us how to use that fire that burns inside us and how to focus it. And that's what the Tai Chi Chuan, the Qigong, the meditation systems, the self-defense systems afford you to get us free. Hip hop, yeah. Yes. So I want you to understand that our culture, as we practice it, affords us insulation from this system. But if we have to sustain our organization. And one of the ways that we do that, and I need you to understand that we use several things throughout the year to do this. That right now we got Black August, right? And so then we also have the time where, as we get into the latter parts of the year, we have, if you stay connected to what we're doing, we hold community fasts 4 times a year. We just came off our summer solstice fast. We have another fast coming up for the fall equinox. And so this is what we're talking about in terms of, so some folks that are part of Black August are fasting. If you get an opportunity, I did a whole talk on fasting. You can go to my IGTV section of on my little page there, and you'll see we did one on fasting and nutrition science, and it'll break that down so you can talk about it. But it's a way for us to honor their sacrifice. And I need you to understand that it's not about what kind of animals you eat or don't eat, or veggies you eat or don't eat, although it is important to get the best foods and nutritional inputs and any input in your system. You want to get the best that you can. But those things are done so you can know who you are. Because if you know who you are, you're not going to let people mistreat you. You're going to understand what it is to erect specific types of boundaries, both for your personal mental and spiritual, physical health, and for the health of your community. Now we understand what boundaries are. We're going to be able to explain consent in some very clear ways. No, you can't touch my hair. How are you going to talk to my child and not talk to me? And I've seen that happen with, the so-called cool law enforcement officers, want to talk to my child and not talk to me. It's like, what world are you in where that's okay? And so when you know who you are, you know how you're connected. Now what we want to look at is, well, what kind of relationship am I in? And I'm not talking about intimate relations, although I could be. We can apply it in that way. But just again, let's look at, well, why is this person with me? Why am I with this person? And it's not just because I love them. And that's something my mama taught me. And a shout out to my mama. Because I need y'all to understand, just because somebody loves you, it ain't enough. What are they doing for your people? What are they doing for themselves? Have they made a consistent commitment to a lifestyle change? Or are they unsure if they want to be in a place that is where they can live free? Because that's what we want to do. We want to be able to breathe and live free. All right, so now that we got that, let's let another piece I want to put. So that's what I mean when I talk about relationship. Because we know that we got a war outside. I don't want to come home and have the battle continue. I don't want to be at work fighting off these racists, fighting off these white supremacists, helping people understand who they are and how to maintain peace in the community, and then come home and have to restore peace and righteousness in my home, at home. That's not where we are. We want to be on the same page, get some things together, some clear understanding of how we interact and work together. And so that's at one level. The other level that I want to talk about, and we get some clarity here. I know there's a lot of folks are unclear. So I just need to, I'm going to say it this way, that we're talking about freedom for all of our people. That means that I'm not asking questions about who your partner is, who you sleep with, how you sleep with them, what particular behaviors you engage in when you sleep with them. What I'm concerned about is, are you for the freedom and liberation of Black people? Are we in a place where we really want to be free? Or are we concerned about what you call God, or even if it's God at all, or Orisha, Loa, Necher, higher power? Enough with the gangbanging. Exactly, I'm with you, Baba, but we need to clarify that for some folks, because you got people that are we want to be free, but I want to choose who get to be free. I want to be able to, everybody like me could be free, but them other folks, they not down. Again, if we all gonna get free, or it's gonna be hard for any of us to get free. Okay, because now we playing into the imperialist and the capitalist constructs that only 3 to 7% of us is gonna make it. And that don't work for us. And we need to be able to recognize that. And what you're going to hear a lot from me is I deal with math and science, because that's what our ancestors dealt with: math and science, physics, geometry, math. I can prove what I say. So that's what we want to be able to continue to do. And that's part of the study. And not only can I talk to you about that in terms of the abstract, I can talk about that in the concrete and how that expresses in your body. Here's how you keep yourself safe using geometry and applied physics. All right? That's what we're talking about, using our ancestral connections and relationships. Okay, so now as we continue on looking at Black August, so we done talked about our previous warriors, we talked about our research and education, we talked about a commitment to a lifestyle change, consistent commitment to a lifestyle change. So this is not just something that we do for Black August. This is something that we start in Black August so that we can begin to continue it through the rest of the year. And what you're going to see from what I do is many of you may know me or may have seen me at the Lula Washington Dance Studio doing some stuff with them in KhASA. And so I'm down with KhASA too. Because again, for those of our folks who are caught up in the confusion of the end of the year holy days, because we're not as tapped into our culture and not tapped into the cosmos, we don't have the deep understanding to know that the Abrahamic systems, were weaponized a piece of what they got, and so we've had to reclaim it over here as we got free. And in doing so, what we want to be able to do with that is say, KhASA is about understanding these principles. The same way Black August is bringing us back to what are the principles that keep us safe, that enable us to organize, enable us to work towards our freedom. And so now that we have that and we're working towards us and our people, at some level, we also want to talk about a concept that I call solidarity. Okay, and a lot of people push unity. I want to talk about solidarity. Just briefly, just bear with me on this. I'm not going to belabor the point, but I want you to understand that solidarity says that we can work together on the things that we agree on. Unity says that before we can work together, we got to agree on everything. I'm about getting work done and getting it accomplished. And so I can work with folks around specific areas. We call that a collaboration. We want to be able to do that. We want to build towards a community consensus, but that's going to require work and organization, and that's going to require some healing. That's going to require some mediation skills. That's going to require us to talk to one another as if we love one another. So that the language that we speak is not the language of war. And another piece that I'm going to offer out here is that how many of us only speak one language? We need to get to the point where we want to be multilingual as best we can. Speaking 3, 4 languages, not just one or two. And it's okay if you speak a colonial language, because we're already speaking one right now. So that's one, but we need another couple. You got Kiswahili, Wolof, Igbo, Yoruba. That's some of the quick ones, but we gotta begin to get that solidarity together so we can communicate, build bridges, multi-generational bridges. And as we start moving at, it's Black August, but also we got to think about what's happening for our children in this COVID right now. What's going on? What are we teaching them? Have you taken your children outside? Because they want to put our children in this machine and teach them through the machine. We want to have the opportunity to, yes, our children are at home, we'll take them outside. Take them into whatever green space you have. I don't care if it's just some dirt on the ground, you're gonna find some ants there. Be in there and be in that and talk with your children about the ants. And if you don't know, get involved and watch yourself. Get in it. Learn something new that you haven't learned before. I give an example. One of my favorite animals is a crocodile. So you'll see I'm wearing a crocodile here today. And I was going around and I like learning more about crocodiles because of the way in which they move. And what I learned watching this crocodile documentary last night is that crocodiles have 3 eyelids. 3. So they got these, and they have one that's transparent that protects their eyes when they're underwater so they can see clear, even though their eyes are open. So, so that makes them one of the apex predators in the water. And they're special because they can be in salt water or fresh water. But I won't, belabor the point. I'll get all it, We'll talk about animals in another place because we have to remember that we share this planet. And I need us to understand that, yes. And the reason I'm talking, there you go, spirit messengers and new language. And so I'm going to throw those two together and say that, we live on a sentient planet with sentient animals. And our ancestors actually knew that the animals communicated. And we have to take the time to be patient and cultivate the intelligence of the heart so we can learn some things. by observing these animals. And as many of my students on here know, that we actually study animals as a part of our development of our martial skill. And so we'll be doing that. And so that's a great deal about what we do. And so going forward, next Sunday, I should be able to bring to you an announcement about what we're going to be doing going forward with some of our collaborations, particularly with Raw Life Defense and with Dosha Healing Arts in terms of the activities we're going to be officially doing for Black August. What I want you to also know is that if you go on IG and you hit up my bio, you'll find a link there to our classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, where we're teaching a donation-based Tai Chi Chuan and Qigong and meditation class. So I'm not just here talking about getting ready, I'm teaching you how to get ready. And also, Raw Life Defense has a Saturday class at the Long Beach Bluff, 12:30s on Saturdays. Physically distanced with masks, so everybody's safe. It's a big space, so you can get your practice on there. Donation-based. Suggested donations, probably about 10, 15 bucks a class. You want to get that in. Because it's not enough to protest. As we saw, if you're at a protest and you're protesting the injustices that are going on, we want to be, what is your response that we have for when the unmarked vehicles roll up and we don't know who's in the vehicle and they jump out wanting to take one of our sisters away? Huh? Or even one of our brothers or one of our children. There are techniques and processes that can be employed to keep our people safe when they're at a protest or march, and we can maintain harmony, maintain peace. Now, that's what I wanted to really initially get into for the start of Black August. I wanted to remind you that we're talking about a consistent commitment to a lifestyle change. A consistent commitment to a lifestyle change. And with that, the other piece I want to talk about is the things that I'm asking and talking to people that you got to do are simple. They're not easy, but they are simple. And by simple, it means that the instructions are clear, the process is clear, there's no misunderstanding about what is being requested. However, it will require work. It will cultivate discipline. You will learn about yourself in terms of what I don't like, well, the term knowledge of self is a traditional term that's used in the community. I like to talk about cultivating the self. Cultivating, because cultivate, when you hear it, you know that that's going to require some work. You don't acquire knowledge of self, because first you get belief, then you're going to get understanding, you're going to have some adaptation, you may get some wisdom. That's going to lead to a transformation, and that transformation is what's going to then move you towards a place of wisdom. All right, so we have to begin to really clarify the way in which we move. So what I'm doing with these Sunday chats, Sundays with Seba, is offering folks an opportunity to get a deeper look at what the Kemetic Aha and Sama Association is beyond just teaching Tai Chi Chuan, Qigong, meditation, and getting into the yoga. And, I talk about, it's called Sema, it's called Sama. We don't call it yoga, we call it Sema. And I don't talk about it much because many of my younger students in the association, many of our partners in the association are doing masterful work teaching yoga. And I don't compete with my folks. So I want to offer something that isn't being offered elsewhere. So I'm right now focused on Tai Chi Chuan and Qigong. And so once we get some of our folks doing more Tai Chi Chuan and Qigong, you're going to find me probably doing more of these kind of Sunday chats with Seba, Sundays with Seba, as a way of orienting perspective, making sure that we're collectively in community on the path where we need to go, and aiding in some more kind of advanced specialty teaching. as we start getting into the deeper aspects of Tai Chi Chuan as a self-defense system. And we start talking about ways that you can use it to some of the more advanced healing techniques, which I want to begin to get to so you can understand. We have a complete system that talks about wholeness, it talks about healing, both at the energetic level as well as at the level of nutrition, like I covered once before. And so we have a system that can help you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then the other subtle bodies we take in as well. And that's why we talk about that consistent commitment to a lifestyle change. And with that, as we continue through Black August, just want to remind folks that, we have some events coming up through our collaboration with Ra Life Defense and Doshi Healing Arts. Check us out. You have that opportunity, please do so. And what I'd like to do now is, if you have questions, this is Instagram questions. If you're in our Facebook group, I'll be answering questions there once this wraps up over on Instagram, and I'll hit the questions on Facebook there. Okay, first now for us that are on Instagram, if you have any questions related to what we talked about today, related to a consistent commitment to a lifestyle change, related to understanding how the work we do is simple, not easy. And, this is the time where I'd open it up for questions. So please, if you have a question, now's the time. I'm going to grab a sip of water while that runs through the Ethernets. All righty, no questions. Or maybe it's my signal is tripping. I don't think my signal is tripping, but we'll work it out. So if there are no questions, what I'm going to do is summarize, and then I will politely bow out, giving you back the rest of your Sunday. So we have 4 of our other Sundays with Seba in our IGTV section of our profile. Please check them out. The goal of the IGTV sessions that we're doing here is to create a body of work that we have here on Instagram for our Instagram community so that we can give to the Instagram community some of the same tools that we're given elsewhere. Right now, it's just chat and dialogue. I'm sorry. The classes are Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, Pacific time, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 Pacific time. And they're also on our YouTube channel, Tuesdays and Thursdays. No worries if you're driving, that's cool. We appreciate you took the time to listen and check us out. Thank you so much for doing so. And the link to those classes is in our bio for IG. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, the link is in the bio. We'll also, this week, we'll be expanding what we're doing. Let me also remind folks that the full moon will be tomorrow morning at about 9 o'clock. So if you've been with us before, or you're a martial arts practitioner at all, self-defense system practitioner, please take an opportunity to be out under the full moon and practice what you got. That's a wonderful way to connect with the cosmos. The moon will be up right as the sun is setting. It should be up. You'll be able to also see a couple of planets. So if you look, depending on if you're in the northern hemisphere while you're watching this, and you look to like basically south of, basically in the southeast, you'll see the moon coming up, and you'll also see the planets Saturn and Jupiter. Okay? And so it's really awesome. It's really a way for us now to begin to connect, and it's a little easier to see because people aren't driving as much. And it's really something that you want to really connect. And if you're in a place where you can see all the stars, then you know what I'm talking about. You can really feel very differently about your relationship to the earth and to the cosmos if you're out at night and you can see the stars. It is truly awesome. And I really think that if you haven't had that opportunity because you live in the city or you live too close to what we call the pollution of light by living in the city, you want to get out. And so if you can get out to a place that has minimal light, you can see the stars at night. this is a great time of year to do it. This is a time of the new year. For those of us in the Kemetic community, the heliacal rising of Sirius A, also known as Subtet, happens the 15th and 16th, so that's next weekend, a couple of weeks. And so we'll be having our New Year's celebrations, and I'll more than likely talk a bit about that during one of our Sundays, talk a bit more about Kemet, talk a bit more about the relationship of Kemet to the calendar of Kemet, talk about food, and just bring together all the previous conversations as a way to understand Kemet, as a way to understand our association and the work that we do in cultural education and the traditions that we do. And we're trying to remind our people of what we have forgotten and the legacy that we possess within us. And that as we tap into that legacy and that history, what will return to us is not only our liberation, but beauty, our ability to have really full health. That they won't just be survival programs anymore, that what we'll do and engage in are tools that help our people be free and live in a free way. So you can also at this time, study the Maroon societies. You can study the Quilombos, and what I'll do is for the next session, before the next session, what I'll work to do is I'll spend this week as sharing information about Black August and Black August activities that are available over the net. And I'll also share some resources about things that you can read and people and places that organizations you can connect with. In the short term, I would say check out Malcolm X Grassroots Movement for Black August. Check out Raw Life Defense. Check out Doshi Healing Arts, Sister Nati. You can check out the Intersection for Mankind, work that we're doing there. You can check out, who else is there? Decolonizing Therapy, okay, which is hugely important. Decolonizing Therapy. I think I saw Dr. Tama here in the room. So if you see her, you want to follow her. You want to follow the Love Ambassador, who's one of our folks doing the great work on Skid Row. Talking about the church without a roof. You have some amazing people right here in the room with us now. So I want you to afford you the opportunity to really get to know and begin to organize in ways that enable you to expand your reach so that your skills don't just benefit you and your family, but that they benefit a community. I want you to see that what I'm doing here, this information, many folks that have these lives are talking about banal topics. What I want to be able to do with these is, most folks, you're not charging for this input. You're not, there's no money. This is a video that somebody could, people buy these, $15, $20. So yes, but that doesn't help the community. That doesn't help us get the work done. Right now, what we need to do is to remember that everything ain't about money. That, okay, I am a wealthy man. And I don't talk about it much because people misunderstand, because they only think that wealth comes through finances. I'm building financial wealth, but I am a wealthy man. I have 5 children. I have 3 college graduates right now. And and that's not where the wealth comes in. The wealth comes in because my children know who they are. I have a culture that I live and practice, and I'm passing that culture on to my family and to my larger community. I am a wealthy man. I know what beauty is. And if any of you have had the opportunity to see some of the dishes I've been able to prepare and share, you understand what I'm talking about. Beauty is a part of our lives every day. Take some time to experience it, right? Even if it's as simple as a plain old salad. Because what I want you to remember, and I'm gonna just quote one of my elders in the self-defense arts and say, at one point when I first started, a kick was a kick, a punch was a punch, strike was a strike, a block was a block. And then it became this profound wisdom. And it was surreal, and the veil was removed, and I saw what the ancestors and my spirit guides wanted me to see. And as I kept growing and continued to grow, a kick became a kick, a punch became a punch, a block became a block, and a strike became a strike. And I'm going to close with this one thing that I saw that I loved. And I hope y'all really grasp it and get it. And so what they say is, when you get bumped or knocked around and you have a cup in your hand, you spill, somebody made you spill some juice or some water out of your cup, right? So you can't spill out of your cup what's not already in your cup. So if you get in a violent situation, or if somebody talks crazy to you, or somebody bumps into you, and what comes out of you, don't let it spill out. Because what's inside you is what spills out. And so my goal is that what spills out should be love from the Creator. What spills out should be joy and happiness, the joie de vivre from the French, as we say, the joy of life. That should be what spills out of you. If it's anger and bitterness, and you got to look at, well, if that's inside you already, that's going to spill out. And is that really what you want to spill out over, folks? I want to be able to say that, like my brother Tobe and Wigwe, who I'm really vibing with his rendition. If you haven't heard that, Try Jesus, please check it out. And I'll say there's a wonderful version that the Hamiltones remixed it. And so they got it and they added in their vocal stylings. And so I say that, I can say it with a smile on my face, don't try me. Please don't try me, because I throw these hands. And I throw them with love. And as I teach my students, I don't have any problem helping you kneel in prayer and calling out the name of the Creator that you do as a way to keep you off me. And if you insist, I am grateful enough to offer you the abyss. And in so doing, being honored by your request to escort you into the realm of the ancestors. And so if you haven't, see, that's why I have people understand Sebek the crocodile. I am Inpu Sebek, Anuk Inpu Sebek. So you understand. And there's a wonderful poem that talks about it that, I don't enjoy the time of having to crush your life. It's just that I fulfill the law, and the law demands your blood. And so, that was awesome. How the connection now it dragged. Okay. All right, looks like it's tripping. We got a trippy connection here. So it's reconnecting. I'm not sure what's happening over there. It looked like we're still good on the Facebook end. Trying to see if we're going to be able to get a reconnection here right at the end. I don't know. They're trying to reconnect. So we're going to see what's happening. We got paused. So let's see, how is this going over on Facebook here? Let me check it out real quick and see what we got. I don't know how many of y'all are watching. What we got cracking in here. Uh-oh, there we go. Oh, we got quite a few folks over in here. Okay, so y'all are good. Yes, a little behind. That's the point. They're supposed to be, but that's good. Okay, all right, good. Okay, just want to make sure. I'll be on Facebook in a minute. It doesn't look like it's going to reconnect on Instagram. That's okay. I'm just trying to wait and see if it'll reconnect so I can close up over there. I appreciate your patience, everybody on Facebook. I'll be coming over as soon as I shut this thing down. And it may shut down for me because it's not, it is not going to do what it do. I'm just going to have to stop it. So I'm thinking I'm going to stop the connection there. And I'm going to just let it end. And we're going to have to go with something else. Because it is what it is right now. We can't fight it. It is what it is. So what we are going to do is, in the meantime, in between time, I'm gonna jump on over to the room. Y'all have any questions over here on Facebookery? While I'm in here, we got any questions? Because it says it's reconnected, but it ain't reconnected. So I can't see if we live, if we not live. I'm not sure. And it froze. Ah! Okay, well, stick with me. It's gonna happen. Ah, Haru, I didn't see you in the room. Oh, I feel pretty good now. Okay. So I got my teacher on here. So we'll work it out. Hold up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end the Instagram session because it never reconnected me. And then I'm gonna come back into the room and flow this up. IG just kind of froze. It probably ended it, but I can't see it. So I'm gonna end it. And yeah, share the IG. Give me a moment here. Just there's a problem. Try again later. Close. Okay. So I'm probably gonna have to change that, but we're gonna leave that for a second. And gonna come on over here to the IG. All right, folks. It's just us. Are there any questions that anybody has with regard to Black August? Any of the things that we're going to be offering? Any of the other practices that we got going on? Anybody want to? The field of direction is going to shift. Don't worry about it. I'm still here. I'm just making some minor adjustments and want to be able to respond directly to y'all as best I can on the camera. So holla. Let me know what's happening. Do you have any questions? If there are no direct questions, what y'all should have found out is that I'm jumping here. So what y'all should have found out is that in the newsletter, there are direct links to Black August. What is Black August and who's doing some work in Black August? And hopefully you'll be able to have some placeholders for the collaboration that we have coming up with Dosha Healing Arts and Raw Life Defense. And so what I'm going to do, since I don't see anybody raising any questions, is I'm going to shut this down here and then go and process the IG live and come back in a few and see if y'all have any questions, comments, issues, or concerns. And again, the lighting that we have here, and I'm going to post this and share it in the, and probably the ones from August will be in the September newsletter. So, and if folks want it sooner, you can access it directly in case you missed it and you wanted to get it. It'll be up on our YouTube later on tonight. Now, just hit me up and I'll see if I can get you the direct link. Okay, because again, it's private. And this is not going to be one of the things that we throw out to the public because it's on IG and whatever the IG works. I wanted to make sure that, like I talked about, being prepared and being ready. So we got a redundant system set up so that our people have an opportunity to have access to what we're doing. And the public is able to get, to benefit as well. But I'm doing this mainly for us. And also for the community at large, but us first. Got it? I hope so. So now what I want to do, I'm going to say Hotepu. Thank you for checking it out. We do this every Sunday at 3 o'clock. Let's see. And, please, I appreciate everyone. Do understand, since y'all are watching it live right now, I'm grateful for y'all that are active. We have almost 300 folks, and I'm excited that we have that number of folks in the group. However, I'm going to start basically removing folks who are not active because initially we allowed folks in the group to have access to the healing information, and it was a way that we had live physical classes. So most of the folks in the group now have never been to a class, and the classes are online, and they ain't never been to a class. So it means that for me, if you're not active, if you're not coming to a class, the group exists for the class, not the other way around. So I'm going to be removing folks who aren't supporting either the class or aren't active in the room. So I want to thank you all for your active participation and support. And, you know, hit that PayPal if you have an opportunity to support our efforts. The support in PayPal enables us to, I know y'all may not see what it does, but it enables us to offer honoraria to the speakers on our panels that we have coming up this month. It affords us the opportunity to feed members of the association who are not able to afford to come to our gatherings. That when we have special events, like I think we went to see King Tut, some people who were not able to afford the cost of the trip we were able to cover that through donations. And so that we want to be able to utilize and continue to offer access to all of our participants, regardless of their income, because that's how the community cares for itself. And I want you to remember that everything that we're doing here is a demonstration of what community looks like and feels like. So that when you hear me talk brother, sister, family, it's not theoretical concepts. It's not me throwing some bullshit out there. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And I do the work because the work is required for us to be free. And I didn't get a chance to say it overtly over on IG, but I need you to understand that there are no isms that I support unless it's freedomism, liberationism. So if you have some bigotry that you're harboring towards someone based on, the color of their skin, who they live with, that is not wrapped up in someone's liberation or a survival strategy, then you're going to have some issues and challenges working with me. Just want to be able to clarify that so that folks understand that this is a liberatory space. This is a trauma-informed space. This is a space that we support people that have survived traumas of a wide variety, including the Holocaust of enslavement. And our goal is to help people heal. And so if through the course of your healing, we identify that you have some bigotry that you need to resolve, we have tools for you to resolve that bigotry. If you're racialized as white, we have the work we're doing at the Intersection for Mankind. If you have bigotry towards people who are part of what in this country, in this cultural context, is part of the LGBTQIA community or the disabled community, then we have tools within our practice that aid you in addressing and dealing with that. Holler at us so that we can get you healed, so that you're not trying to selectively choose who gets to be free and who doesn't. And if anybody has a problem with that, I will put it to you this way. Try Jesus, don't try me. Because I got these hands. And with that, I say teacher to student, student to teacher, to all the masters that have gone before us and our ancestors. And I want to be able to thank you all for your attendance. And in terms of San Diego, Ace, I'll see what we could do. There is a Kemetic temple that does some similar things down there called the Earth Center. But we'll talk directly about that. One of the brothers, he may be in the group. I'm not sure if he is, Minohati Kamata. And they do some similar work, a ritual. And I also talked to one of my brother priests in the Ifa tradition, Ifa Kolade, who is from that area and work to connect y'all, okay? And let's see. And again, yeah, that's right. Mutual aid, cooperative. Thank you, Baba Harukuti, Seba Harukuti, for throwing that in the chat. We also want to give honor and praise to the eternal witnesses of our ancestors, the earth and the sky. And we say, Hatapu, peace and blessings, everybody. Ashe, thank you for taking this time to spend Sundays with Seba Inpu Kamut. I will see you all in the ethers and hopefully very soon in the light. Hatapu. Ankh Ujasana. Peace to you, life, health, and strength.